I am going to ask us all to focus for a moment on forgiveness. And maybe there's something personally you need to forgive. Maybe there's something that you want your family to forgive. And many people are doing this work where we forgive and ask for forgiveness for our country, our generational connections, our ancestors, and we just simply ask for forgiveness for humanity, for our human family. And so this is our time to do that because, one of the great teachers, Desmond Tutu, who was the head of the Peace and Reconciliation Committee in South Africa, wrote a book and he said, there is no future without forgiveness. Like our country will constantly always be at war with itself if we can't face what we did and forgive it. And so I have to call out Desmond Tutu for the courage and the strength and the conviction to do that really difficult work, to sit and listen to people. Listen to how they came to be who they are and do what they do. And we have a saying, there but by the grace of God go I. And ye who is without sin, throw the first stone. Because we know, if we had been there and through that, we would be doing that too. Maybe even something worse. I remember one time I counseled a young man who had beat up a really tiny little kid. And it had happened in an alley. And so part of what we did is we brought them together and, would do some reconciliation work. And when this tall man, well, teenager, tall boy, who looked like a man because he was very tall, saw this young boy, he couldn't believe that he had done that. And it was because he was in a dark alley in a violent place. He was raised in violence, and someone came up behind him and he just was triggered, and he just went off. And he never saw the kid again. And then when he did see the kid and see his size and how he was just a kid, he started to cry. And those kids became friends. And he was like that kid's protector in a very difficult, tough neighborhood after that, And so I'm going to leave it here with our intention to forgive. And I'm going to ask Kathy to do this wonderful Ho'oponopono. It's a forgiveness prayer from Hawaii. And in your heart, as we go through this, offer up what it is that needs to be forgiven and released.
Thank you, Judy. Bless you for this wonderful day and this celebration of the earth and peace and forgiveness. Ho'oponopono is a very powerful ancient Hawaiian healing prayer for forgiveness, peace, and reconciliation. It is a very powerful healing prayer, very powerful. Its translations is, O infinite divine mind, through my beloved high self, cleanse me of all negativity, both within and without, that it may be a perfect vessel for your presence. And the mantra that we are going to be singing, or you can speak it, is I'm sorry, forgive me, I thank you, I love you. And the word, the powerful, beautiful word, is Ho'oponopono. And we'll repeat that several times. Ho'oponopono. I I'm sorry, forgive me. I thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, 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 ho'oponopono.
For all people all over the earth who have been harmed through violence, wars, and misunderstandings of all kinds, please forgive us.
I'm sorry, forgive me. I thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, 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 ho'oponopono.
To the living, breathing, holy Mother Earth, for anything that we have done intentionally or unintentionally to harm you and your inhabitants, may you forgive us. May we be forgiven.
I'm sorry, forgive me. I thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, 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 I'm sorry, forgive me. I thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, 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 ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, forgive me. I thank you, I love you. I love you, I love you.
Thank you. That was the most beautiful Kathy Kennedy, and we appreciate you leading us in that. May peace prevail on earth. May we experience radical forgiveness. Thank you, Desmond Tutu. We love you. One of the things I remember about Desmond Tutu is how hard he cried during those testimonials of the Reconciliation and Truth Commission just wailed at what some people were sharing about what they did to other people. And then after that was all done, there was this incredible joy with which he lived. It was like he had experienced the most horrible part of what could possibly be between humans. And then he was so free. There was just this innocence about him. If you watch The Joy Project that he and His Holiness the Dalai Lama did together, they look like 8-year-old boys. They're just teasing each other and just playing games and joking. And I had never seen him look happier the couple of years before he died. So I just offer that to us now in this time that seems so dark and like we're spiraling backwards instead of forwards sometimes. And so just know that old line from a Khalil Gibran poem that the depths of our sadness will equal the heights of our joy. And that pain itself is another Gibran thought. Pain itself is the breaking of the shell of our heart's understanding. So we go now to Findhorn, where our friend Barbara Swetina is, to share her wisdom and blessing with us. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, Judy, and thank you, everybody. It's just such a privilege to be here and to hear each one of you, of us, just already brings this more beautiful world present than our hearts know is possible. So it's just like we're creating the kind of future we want. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
Perfect introduction to Deng Ming Dao, who is such a universal spirit and a most profound teacher of the Tao, a prolific author, an artist, a martial artist. Thank you, Ming Dao, for taking your time to be with us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Really, I'm grateful to be able to have this opportunity to listen to holy words first thing in the morning and to hear all the beautiful song. I'm frequently asked, what can one person do? But you see, right now, I've heard the words of one person. I've heard the songs of one person, and those have moved me greatly. If one person can move another person, and we can all move each other, then the world would really be transformed. Taoism holds that nature is supreme, and that all we have to do is integrate with it. So today, on Earth Day, let's think back on the tasks we have before us. Can we reduce global warming? Can we reduce greenhouse emissions? Can we change our agricultural practices so that they're restorative rather than merely consuming. Some people have estimated that we only have 60 harvests left if we don't act. The soil is being depleted, and it's being depleted at a greater rate than it's being restored. And think about the insects. Insects comprise 80% of the species in this world, and yet they're being drastically wiped out by insecticides, pollutants, climate change, and so on. In 2019, about 40% of all honeybees were lost, and that obviously has impact on pollination and honey and so on. You see, we depend on the earth. That's where we get our food. We depend on all these other species. We're all integrated. And as I listened to these words of forgiveness, it occurred to me that what forgiveness does is it gives us unity with other people. Because when you fail to forgive, you divide yourself against other people. When you do forgive and that new unity is created, then there are new possibilities, new opportunities. And that's the freedom that we all crave. But ironically, because of our carelessness, we're creating a world of fewer possibilities. And pretty soon it's going to be so drastic, it might curtail our very lives. So forgiveness is absolutely essential because it leads to unity and it leads to new opportunities. Taoism is all about integration. To address these problems, can we integrate with each other? Can we integrate social and economic and spiritual concerns? We may be gathered here today because of religious motivations, but we're aware of what's happening in our environment and with other people. We have to integrate all the abilities that we have if we are to transform our world as we must. Can we combine science, art, and spirit? Can we return to the philosophies and the holy understanding of our forebears? Then all will be right and all will continue. For the Taoists, we get everything from nature. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the ground you walk on, the ground you stand on, the ground where your house is. All this is a matter of the earth, isn't it? And how miraculous the earth is. We cannot do what the earth does. What do we do with our garbage? We bury it. What do we do with our dead? We bury them. And then what happens? New grass sprouts. There's new growth. Only the earth can bring forth new life. And so we need to respect that and express our gratitude for that, because that's literally what enables us to live. In the Taoist book, the Tao Te Ching, it speaks of those who are frugal. And it says those who are frugal are the ones who are virtuous. But look at the word frugal. It's a picture of the people who make the harvests. People who do the harvest work the land, and they're very careful because they put all this effort into it and they know how precious it is to be able to harvest. We work, but we can't actually make the plant that grows. We can only nurture it. So someone who's frugal is someone who has worked for what they are conserving. They're working to feed other people. And they don't waste because they know how much effort they put into it. And they know how rare and special it is for them to have enough growth to feed so many people. That's the attitude that we need. we need to remember all the effort it took to live on this planet, to bring forth the food for others to eat, indeed to forgive other people, and not to waste. The Tao Te Ching also speaks of being the sage. The sage, if you look at the word for sage, it's someone who can hear those holy words and someone who's going to act on those holy words. That's each of us. It's not a special office that we relegate to somebody. Each of us has to be the sage. And for me, one of the most powerful pronouncements about the sage is this: the sage protects good people. The sage protects not good people. In other words, the sage makes no discrimination against who they might help. They protect everybody. That, of course, takes forgiveness. It takes care. It takes a refusal to waste. And of course, it takes great compassion for everybody in the world. All of that, compassion, care, responsibility, forgiveness, it's all about unity. It's all about opening the way to other people so that everybody can have a free life and a happy and successful life. Now, in Taoism, there's something called Qigong, and Qigong is nominally called breath training. But think about the word breath. Think about the word spirit. The word spirit means breath. We breathe in air, we get energy. They tell us in health class, oh, well, you get oxygen and you get red blood cells and it nurtures your tissues. Even though you look at it on a chemical level, that's still a matter of energy. We take in the energy of the world, we transform it inside ourselves, and we use that to live. So when you breathe, you are literally taking in all the energy of the world. When did that energy start? According to the Taoists, and indeed according to the Christians, it started at the very first moment of this universe. And if you look at what the scientists say, the energy is neither destroyed nor created, it only circulates. So when you breathe, you take in the same energy that made this universe. And when you exhale your waste gases. And what happens? This marvelous world changes that back into usable oxygen again. Everything is circulation, everything is integration, everything is unity. So, can we align ourselves with the world? And in aligning ourselves with the world, can we go out and save it? And can we save every person who is good? And can we save every person who is not good? That means we exclude nobody. So I'm going to invite you to stand up and let me lead you through a very short and simple kind of Qigong that everybody can do. And I think you can not only feel that you're a part of everybody else on this call, but you can feel a part of the world too. So if you wouldn't mind standing up. So let's start with our feet together. And let's just have our hands at our side. Let us be empty. Did you hear the guitar? Did you hear the flute? Did you hear the voices? All of those require hollowness. The guitar is hollow inside, the flute is hollow inside, the throat is hollow inside. So when we stand here like this, everything together, we're still. And we let ourselves be empty, not because that's negative, but because that's the opening by which everything else is created. And then you can put your weight on your right foot and step out with your left foot and just have your feet shoulder width apart and your feet parallel and just bend your knees a little bit. And then you can just raise your hands up and inhale when you go up and exhale when you go down. And we're just going to try that 3 times. Inhale up, exhale, push down. Inhale, rise up just like the waves on the ocean. Exhale, sink again. And now do the same thing out to the side. Inhale up and let your elbows be soft. And then just both arms are like 2 waves going up and down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Now all you have to do is bring your hands out in front of you so they're facing each other, just like you're holding a ball. Can you imagine a sphere of light that you're holding, as bright as the sun, between your hands, and you're going to pull that apart and squeeze that back together. Inhale when you come up. Exhale when you come down. Inhale. Exhale. Now the last one, all you have to do is go inhale, circle your hands over your head. Exhale, push down. Now we're going to add a little visualization to this. We're going to inhale all the good energy in the world. Exhale and imagine anything negative in you, you're going to push out the bottom of your feet. Inhale golden light. Push out everything negative like black smoke down through your legs, down through your feet, out into earth. Now just bring your hands in a circle and have your palms face your abdomen. And just breathe and think about your lower belly. Speaking of earth, the Taoists say we have 3 fields in us, a lower one, a middle one, and an upper one. Just like we're farmers outside doing the work, when we do our inner work, we have these fields that we work inside ourselves. We're going to think about that lower field, put our mind there, let everything sink down there, and then attain stability. And all you have to do now is take an inhalation and an exhalation. And then we're going to bring our left foot back in and close, and we're back to the beginning again. So I thank you for having me here today. It was a thrill to be able to listen to all of this. I'll turn it back over to Reverend Judy now. But bless you, and I hope that all of us can keep in mind our goals for Earth Day and our goals for forgiveness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ming Dao.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate you being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So to continue, I want to share some things that are in alignment with what Ming Dao shared with us, and then we're going to have a song by Daniel Nahmod. There's a book called Creating True Peace by Thich Nhat Hanh, and we call him Thai. That's how he liked to be called. And I picked some excerpts from this book because it's such an incredible book for this moment, because it's his insight into what happened in the Vietnam War. And so I just want to share with you his thoughts about deep listening and gentle, loving speech as we move towards peace, which I think Ming Dao just epitomizes this. But he takes it to the level of the countries. You know, of course, we start with ourselves and with our families and with our practices, as Ming Dao so beautifully shared, with all the things we do and we can do to either hinder the earth or cultivate seeds of health for the earth and for ourselves. And, you know, peace, health, those are just words, right? So, but this idea of the roots of violence, the roots of war, um, are so, I think, in our face right now. So I'm going to share this from his perspective on the Vietnam War, and I want you to think in terms of the wars all over this earth right now. When one country attacks another, it's out of great fear and a kind of collective ignorance. For instance, the French fought to keep Vietnam as their colony because they thought if they possessed Vietnam, they would be happy. So they sent many young men to Vietnam to kill and be killed. And we know when we look deeply that happiness does not come from possessing something, someone. It never does. It comes from kindness and compassion. That's the true roots of happiness, from helping to ease suffering. This is my favorite paragraph so far in the whole book. If the American people had sat down and practiced looking deeply, they would have seen that the Vietnam War was entirely unnecessary, that their own lives could not be improved through the suffering of any other country and the suffering of their own young men. The United States senselessly wasted many lives in this war, when it could have supported both North and South Vietnam in their different models of development, helping the communists and the non-communists alike to rebuild their societies. This would have been a much wiser approach than supporting one side and fighting the other. If France and the United States had yielded independence to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand, helping those countries to develop instead of waging war, all sides would have profited from such a friendly relationship. After a long period of suffering, these countries are finally moving in that direction, but this could have happened much earlier without the terrible loss of life. So I leave you with that beautiful message that without deep listening and gentle, loving speech, and without honoring developmental differences, it's difficult for humanity to move forward and make peace a reality. So, Thai, we love you, we honor you, we bless you, and we will continue the work that you did in this life, and give thanks for your vision. And now my friend Daniel Nahmod is going to offer us a musical piece that will bring us together.
Hello, everybody. Judy, thanks for having me. Nice to be here. I have a request of you to go easy on me because this is way out of my comfort zone. This is a song. I don't know if I've performed this song 5 times since I wrote it, and I wrote it a while ago. And I wrote it for an Earth Day celebration, the details of which have completely left my brain. But the song has always stuck in the back of my head as something that I really meant. To me, you've heard me sing One Power, I think, and One Power draws, or it draws the lack of distinction in some sense between the world's faiths. Whatever you call your God is your business. Whatever I call mine is mine. If we're kind to ourselves and kind to each other, then that's the entire ballgame. And when I think about nature, to me, there's another false separation there. We used to joke with my mom. She had 3 boys, and we used to joke with her on Mother's Day, especially if we forgot to get her a Mother's Day present. Please go ahead and judge me. You're welcome to. If we forgot to get her something for Mother's Day, we would say, "But Mom, every day is Mother's Day." Which she was too smart not to see through. And when I think of Earth Day, I can't help but think, yeah, every day is Earth Day. And in a similar way, the distinction between the distinction between being nice to myself, let's say, or being nice to my fellow humans, and being nice to our dog Lucky, that distinction also gets hazy for me. I'm not sure there's much of a difference. The distinction between treating my home well and treating a riverbed well also is a hazy distinction. The distinction between people sometimes refer to Israel or other places as the Holy Land. The distinction between my home, where I do my best to be a good human, a good dad, a good husband, somebody who does some good in the world with his music. The distinction between that and some other place called the Holy Land, that to me, again, is a hazy distinction. A lot of walls and a lot of boundaries get blurry the longer you look at them. So this is a song in which I really gave some thought to the concept of an Earth Day, to how much I personally deeply love and care about the natural world and our obvious place in the natural world as natural organisms. The rest of the animal kingdom are absolutely, demonstrably, provably our cousins. So when we care for an animal, we are absolutely caring for ourselves. And in fact, even to use the word animal is to create a distinction that I think is probably as hazy as the rest. So here is a song that, like I said, just go easy on me. That's my entire request. I'm going to press play on the track. I'm going to play a little guitar with it, and I'm going to sing this song for you. And I don't know how well it's going to work, but I do know that I mean it, and I hope you enjoy it. Is there really a difference between your world and mine? Has there ever been a wall that Mother Nature cannot climb? We are one human family, to the earth we belong, and lately we're sensing something terribly wrong. But if we care for creation, we will find our common ground, and we can be the generation that turns our future around. If we're to save our own world, then tomorrow is today. 'Cause caring for ourselves and caring for creation are one and the same. Well, we used to be able to hide our heads in the sand. It was someone else's problem, but we finally understand that life is so precious and we've too little time. So our selfish ambitions, let us leave them behind, beyond race or religion, language or nation, beyond what's yours and what's mine. If we care for creation, we will find our common ground, and we can be the generation that turns our future around. If we're here to save our own world, and tomorrow is today. Oh yeah, it's caring for ourselves and caring for creation are one and the same. 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 Every baby ever born, every child ever adored, every woman or man, whether young or old, since the long-lost dawn of the human soul. Every day and every night, every spring's first thaw and fall's last light, every tick-tock clicking off the second hand, every moment since the universe began. Every sparrow, every eagle, every boa, every beagle, every dolphin and whale, elephant and elk, every fruit fly buzzing around your pantry shelf, every flower, every leaf, every redwood tree, every blade of grass that stains your knee, every dozen roses ever given in love, 'cause you can't find the words to say it big enough. Every twinkling light in the northern sky, every supernova scientist have ever spied, every planet going round a distant star, every black hole hiding in eternal dark. It's a great big world out there, no doubt, and it's long past time we figured out that the walls we build can never stay, 'cause the truth is we are one and the same. One and the same.